Okay. Um, Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Episode 5, The Grand Design. As of the time of recording this, it was exactly a week ago that it released. As of the time releasing, this will be the Wednesday. So this will be the day after Episode 6 releases. I'm sorry about the wait. I was out of town, and I was just not able to record this, but I am here now, and, recording it, so you will get my thoughts on this episode right after episode 6 is released, and then my review for episode 6 should be out hopefully before episode 7. It won't be in the next couple of days because I have something going on, but it should be within the week. But let's just get into it. So obviously the last episode ended with Vanessa getting a glass shard in her head. And this one picks up right after that one, where you get a little, 15-second thing with Fisk and Vanessa walking on the beach, and then it's like a dream sequence almost. And then it shows her in the hospital. They're just bringing her in and everything. Fisk is, kind of freaking out. He's like, I need to go in, what's going on and all this. And they kind of have to, get him to calm down a little bit. And then you get Fisk sitting with her after, everything's calmed down. Powell comes in, and just the way he walks, where he's walking like he owns the place, he looks like an a-hole, so much. But he's kind of talking to Fisk, and Fisk is like, when you catch them, you bring them in alive. And he's like, we don't have him yet, sir, but I'm pretty sure we have them surrounded. Obviously, he's referring to Matt and Dex. And then you get a little scene of Matt and Dex where they're just running. They get into this place, and obviously Dex isn't able to move very fast because he was shot. Matt takes the time to make sure he gets all his weapons, his knives and everything, and throw them away. And then he gets someone to get him a little rag to try and help stop the bleeding. And Dex the whole time is just just leave me and everything. And Matt's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And then it shows a little scene with Daniel, and he's on the phone, and then he meets up with BB at the hospital. He's like, how do you find me? And she's like, how many hospitals do you think there are? And he's like, you can't be here right now. She's kind of trying to figure out how Vanessa is doing, if she's alive or not. And Daniel ends up giving away the information because he sucks. But he's like, she's in critical condition and everything. And then you get a little scene with Fisk talking to the doctor. And the doctor's just like, I'm going to try my best to make sure she lives and everything. And Fisk is like, okay. And then you get the first flashback of the episode where the screen widens, and then it just is completely shot different. It looks like Daredevil Season 1, and it's a scene with Vanessa, and there's de-aging, and it looks really good. But it involves Rabbit in the Snowstorm, and she's trying to put it on the wall to sell it, and she's like, if the right guy comes in, he's gonna look at that, see his himself in it, his pain and loneliness. You can add 2 zeros to the price and he'll buy it. And one of the people at the art gallery is like, yeah, we're not gonna do that. And I've heard that some people are like, if they could have shot it that the whole time, why didn't they? I like that it's shot differently, and that they can show that they could shoot it the same way, because it's almost like comic books, where this run over here has an art style, and then this run over here has a different art style. And it's kind of like the two shows. The first 3 seasons had a specific way of shooting stuff, and now Born Again has its own way of shooting it. Obviously, and then when they do the flashbacks, it's this clearly takes place back then. I like that. And then you get a little bit of Matt and Dex talking, and Dex is just kind of saying how if he dies, it's kind of fine, because if Vanessa's dead, he balanced his scales, Vanessa for Foggy and everything. And Matt's just don't say his name, dude. do not say it, keep it out of your mouth. He like grabs Dex by the throat, and Dex is like, all right, dude. And then you get the flashback, the start of the flashbacks with Foggy. And I did tear up a little bit just because, like, this is my favorite show. And even though I love Born Again Season 1, and so far Born Again Season 2 is amazing, something was missing without Foggy. So I am happy that they were able to include him in some way. Even though I feel like this is probably going to be his episode of the season, I hope he shows up at least once more in the season. And then hopefully in the coming seasons he can show up here and there. And then maybe one day he'll still be alive. Who knows? But you get a scene where they're still working for Landman and Zach. So this is before season 1 starts. And they are defending one of Foggy's like old guys that he like grew up with in his building. And the guy's kind of being like a bully to him. And he's being put in jail for like doing drugs and everything, selling them and all that. And Foggy and Matt are like, we can get you like 6 to 8 years if you sign this, and then you can be out in a little bit less than that for good behavior. And the guy's like, if I go to jail, I'll be dead within 24 hours, so I'm not doing that. Obviously, a little bit more goes on, but that's kind of like how that scene goes. And it's just nice seeing Foggy and Matt back together and like doing lawyer stuff. And obviously, since this season doesn't have as much lawyer stuff with Matt present day because of what's happening, I like how they still found a way to have like him doing something lawyerish, even if it's flashbacks. And then you get another flashback with Fisk and Wesley making his return, and they talk a little bit about Bitcoin, and they mention the Russians. I thought that was really cool. Wesley returning, a lot of people are going to like it a lot more than I did. Not that I hated it, it's just that Wesley never was my favorite character. Obviously, he's only in one season, so I didn't really grow connected, and I just didn't really care about him. It's not that I hated him, like, he doesn't ruin the show, and he's not, like, a character that every time he's on screen, I'm like, this sucks, like Daniel, but he's just never a character that I was like, he's great. I was just like, he's fine. So, him returning is cool, it's just, I don't think it's, like, as cool as I think some other people probably do. But then it goes back to current day, and Fisk is just watching Vanessa get operated on, and her hand twitches a little bit. And then you go back to Daredevil and Dex, and Dex is just like, so you tried killing me like a year ago when you threw me off the roof, and now you're trying to save me, and I'm the messed up one. And then Matt is like, I'm trying to save you because I tried to kill you. So it's almost his type of way of trying to balance his scales as well. And I really like that, because it confirms that, yeah, Matt did try and kill Dex in season 1. And now he's trying to own up to it and everything. And I really like that. But then you get a little bit of Matt and Foggy at Landman and Zach. And they get put on, like, night work where they have to go through the files and everything of this guy because they failed. They didn't get him to sign it. And then as they're looking throughout the papers and everything, Foggy finds the warrant that was used to get into this guy's apartment and get the evidence that they needed. And he's like, this address is wrong. It says, like, I don't remember the exact letter, but it's like, it says 32 Street where it was 32.5 Street. I'm sure of that because I grew up there. And so it's basically a get out of jail free card, because even if they found stuff that is against the law, they cannot use it because the warrant was wrong. So it's like a real life get out of jail free card. And then they have like a talk where Foggy is like, even if I don't like the guy as much, I have to like use this and get him out because it's the right thing to do. And Matt is more or less, he's more like dark than you would think from Matt, who's like, Matt's like, we have to save everyone that we can, don't kill and that stuff. He's like, maybe we should just let him do it. I mean, he's selling drugs and everything. How many more people are gonna get hurt once he's let out? And Foggy's like, yeah, but our job is to like defend him and like try and get him out if we can. And this, so I really really like that, but it gets better towards the end. Like what it leads to in the end is better. So we'll get to that. But well, Foggy's like talking a little bit about like mercy and redemption. He's like, isn't that in the Bible? And Matt's just like, okay. I like that, especially the mercy thing, because that obviously comes up later as well. But then you get another scene with Fisk and Wesley, and Wesley's on the phone talking about this mystery man, and he's like, he's the best. And Fisk is like, okay, we'll use him. And you find out later in the episode who that is, and who it is really cool. But then you go back to present day, and Buck kind of helps Daniel out with a reporter who's like bothering him, and Buck kind of comes in, he's like, back off. I'll get the task force to basically kill you. He doesn't say kill you, but it's like implied that like if you don't get out of here, they will not be so forgiving. And then Fisk gets hopeful news from the doctor, where the doctor's like, we don't know the full outcome yet, but it's looking hopeful. Then you get another bit of a flashback with Vanessa, where she is getting the rabbit and snowstorm hung on the wall, and then you get a little bit more of her and Fisk at the beach. And I really like what they do with her in this episode. She has never been my favorite, but I mean, she's part of my favorite show, so it's like, even if she hasn't been my favorite, she's been a nice character to watch, even, and especially since she's not a big part of the show. I mean, she's in season 1, but not a bunch of season 1, and then she's in season 3 in like 2 episodes, and then obviously Born Again season 1 she was a big part of. But I like how this episode, spoilers for the ending, she does end up dying. So I like how this episode kind of just gives the actress as well as Vanessa like a little bit more than some other, like what she's got in other ones, just to kind of give her like this send off. But then you get Daniel and Buck going to Albany, and Buck talks about his past and how Daniel was right. He worked for the Queen, and he was in like this group that was sent in to towns to take out all the soldiers and everything. And he's like, and the Queen said that like 14-year-olds counted as soldiers. And Daniel's like, what did you do? And Buck's like, I did my job. So it's basically like Buck killed 14-year-olds. Which kind of sucks because Buck is awesome, but at the same time, like 14-year-olds, like, man. Anyway, and then you get a flashback where that mystery man that Wesley was talking about on the phone was Buck. So it's kind of showing that even if we didn't know it, even back before season 1, Buck was there. He was working with Fisk. And I really love that, how Buck, like, even if we've never seen him before Born Again season 1, he was basically always there. And it's just kind of cool seeing Buck, who some people say is like the new Wesley, meeting Wesley. And then you get Matt and Foggy releasing Ray. Like, it just kind of, it's like a little scene where Ray gets out and he's like, I'm going to go back to my apartment and wait for them. And then Dex and Matt show up at the church. And there's this scene, and then there's the scene with Foggy that are going to be like intercut between. So I'll talk about the Dex and Matt scene, and then I'll talk about the Foggy scene. So the Dex and Matt scene is them talking, and basically the whole scene, Dex is just like assassins, doctors, vigilantes, like all these different things. We are who we are, whether you're saving someone or you're killing someone or something. It's fate. It's who we are. And I really like that because it's showing you like who Dex is inside, and like in his mind he's just like, he doesn't think he can change, and to some extent he doesn't want to. He is who he is. And intercut with that is Foggy giving Ray, the bully guy, money, and he's like, I want you to take this, get out of here, and start it, like, get a different life. You got a second chance. I want you to take it. And then Ray kind of, like, almost starts tearing up, and he's, like, kind of, like, mending his relationship with Foggy a little bit. And I really like that, just showing that Foggy is like a really, really good person. And the way it intercuts with Matt and Dex talking, I think, was really cool. And then you cut to Daniel and Buck in the woods. Wait, I missed something. I did miss something. Dang it. Okay. So, I'm going to go back. When Buck and Daniel are driving to Albany, they stop at a hardware store. Buck goes in. Daniel is kind of freaking out. He's deciding on whether he should just leave Buck there or not. Buck comes out with a saw and a shovel, and I don't know why, but just Buck's face, like, he's just determined. He, like, when he walks out, he's got the saw and the shovel in his hands, and he's just got, like, the stern face. It makes me chuckle. I don't know why, but I was just like, that is really funny, like, both times I watched it. And then, Daniel's just sitting there, and his lips trembling, because he thinks Buck is gonna kill him. And it's just like, it's just like when I first watched it, which about like a week ago when I watched it, I was just like, is he gonna die? Cut back to now, we're caught up because I missed that. Daniel and Buck arrive in the woods after the scene with Dex and Matt in the church ends, at least for now. They are kind of like having this little bit of back and forth, a last little scene of tension. Daniel is like, whatever I did, I'm sorry about it. If you just let me go, you'll never hear from me again. Buck's like, get out of the car. They go into the back. They kind of talk about loyalty, and Buck's like, you're loyal? Good. Saw or shovel? And it's revealed that Buck brought him out here to help him get rid of the Northern Stars, like, co-captain that he killed last episode. And the whole episode, like, it kind of built, it was like, is Buck gonna kill him or not? And then it's revealed that he didn't. One of the scenes in the show, the episode that I was kind of disappointed by, because I really wanted Daniel to die. I really don't like him. So I was just kind of like, is it gonna happen? It didn't happen. And then you get Buck showing up in the past to try and kill Ray, but Ray's already gone. And then you get one last scene with Matt and Foggy, where Matt kind of just is like, shows up as Foggy's leaving to and he's just like, so you gave him the money? And Foggy's like, yeah, sorry, I'll pay it back. And Matt kind of just like, on your salary. But I like how Matt, like, isn't, like, mad about it, and they, like, I really like the way they do it. I'm just happy to see Matt and Foggy back again. But they leave, they talk a little bit about their name, where, they're like, Murdoch and Nelson. It should be Nelson and Murdoch. It sounds a bit better. And as they're walking away, someone passes them, and some people said it might be Karen, and watching it, it's like, I think that might be Karen. Like, it kind of looks like, the way she walks, and it looks like her. Like, you don't get a clear, like, look at the face, but, like, just, like, the body build, like, she's tall and then skinnier, and just the way she walks and everything, like, that might be Karen. And, like, if that's true, that's Karen before season 1 happens. Obviously, this is them before season 1 happened, and that's just really cool. And it's like, so this all was part of, like, the grand design. And I really like that. I hope that is Karen. But then you get the last little bit of Matt and Dex at the church, where the task force shows up, and Matt and Dex are trying to get away. Dex is like, leave me. Matt's like, I tried saving you, I'm sorry. He gets out of there, and before he fully leaves, he gets some of those flashbacks of Foggy, and Foggy's just like talking about mercy and everything. This is when, like, Matt is like forgiving him, and he's like, we're going to Josie's, what are we celebrating? And Foggy's like, mercy. And then it shows Matt goes back for Dex, and you get that really cool shot of him, like, in the red, and then he reaches his hand out, and there's blue on this side. He obviously takes Dex, and then he shows up at Frank's, the Punisher's old hideout where Karen is, and he's just like, a little help, and Karen just looks pissed. She's just like, why the heck would you bring this guy here? And then you get Vanessa waking up, and Fisk is just crying, like, out of joy and everything. And he's like, I'm so happy you're back. She asks for pineapple juice, and he's just like, you don't like pineapple? And she's like, well, let's try it anyway. And then she's like, could you tell me a story? Tell me the story about how we first met. You get a little bit of a flashback to Fisk and Wesley outside the art studio. Doesn't last that long. But then you get a scene where you think everything's happy, blah, blah, blah. And then Vanessa's like, can you tell me a story? Tell me the story about how we... And then she doesn't finish that, but she was probably about to say how we first met. And just, like, how long they draw it out is a perfect length, but it's like, you thought Vanessa was going to be okay, and then they slowly reveal that she's not. And then Vanessa dies. You get a little bit of flashback to actual season 1 footage where, like, Wilson is just, like, playing with his, I don't know what they're called, but that little thing on his suit that belonged to his dad, cuffs or cufflings or whatever. And Vanessa shows up and is like, it's like, I really like how, like, the events of the flashbacks of this episode with Fisk led up to where we first see him in the show. And then Vanessa dies. And I think that Vincent D'Onofrio's performance was amazing. Because it's like, you hate Kingpin because he's a bad guy. But in this, like, his performance as she's dying and everything, and, like, throughout the episode, it's like, you kind of feel bad for the guy. And, like, when he's crying, when she's dying, and he's just, like, yelling her name, he doesn't know what to do. He's, like, holding his head like this. It's like, he's like a little kid. And that's, like, how Vincent D'Onofrio described him. He's like a kid and a monster. And they did it extremely well. But as a whole, this episode was awesome. I would say episode 4 might be a bit better. And then episode 9 of the last season, I like better. But this is definitely one of my favorite episodes of the whole show. And I'm super excited to see the rest of the season. We're 3 episodes left. And the rest of the season is just going to be, like, off to the races. Like, this was the calm before the storm. All the crazy crap's going to be happening in the next 3 episodes. Jessica Jones is returning in episode 6, which is releasing in, as of right now when I'm recording it, it is releasing in, like, an hour. So, I'm really excited about that. And this episode just was amazing. And, like, my favorite part of the episode was probably everything that had to do with Matt and Dex. Just because, like, I really like the way they do their dynamic, and obviously it's cool seeing Matt in the costume, but I also really loved seeing Foggy back, and, it's just, seeing him back also shows that the show is missing something without him, because it's just, like, he brings so much life and stuff to the season, to the show, and, I almost kind of wish that Karen was the one that died instead of Foggy, just because, like, I've never been as big of a fan of her character as I have been of Foggy's, but killing off Foggy probably did add more to the show. Like, there's more that you can do, just because. Anyway, that is my thoughts on Season 2, Episode 5, The Grand Design of Daredevil Born Again. Shorter than my review of Episode 4. I will try and make sure the next, episodes are longer. I didn't really want to rush through this video, but at the same time, I didn't want to go on too long because I just wanted to make sure that it was recorded. That being said, I also didn't have much to talk about because it didn't really have much action or anything. But I'm excited for the next episode. Maybe, hopefully, Christian McDuffie is in it because I do like her character, White Tiger. But I hope that the next episode has a lot of screen time of Matt. Because I like seeing the main character. That's probably about all I have to say, so I'm going to sign off right now, and I will see you soon. I'm hoping for, obviously, the next episode of Daredevil, and then if there's a movie or something that releases at the end of this week, I'll also review that, if there's any that I want to watch. But until then, I will see you. And I hope you guys enjoy the Daredevil episode tonight.